joining us. I'm excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as well. Okay, share. All right. Robert, give me a thumbs up. Let me know it looks good. You see it?
Looks good.
Okay. All right. Like I said, welcome to the Happy New Year to everybody. Let me let them in here. Our brokerage meeting happens the first Thursday of every month. This is our first one of 2024. Like I said before, there's lots of things to share. Good guess. We may run a little long, but we shall see how it goes. So bear with us. We are recording this presentation. It will be stored on your video courses under education in RSA, as always. And you guys do a really good job of watching the replays. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and get the thing started here. Obviously, we want to, this is kind of the agenda today as we go along. I'm going to welcome you, which we just did. We're going to welcome our brand new agents to HomeSmart. We have quite a few coming in every month, which is amazing. And then, of course, we're going to have our Angel from Minute Mortgage going to give us some talk. Robert from Commercial, HSI Commercial. Billy, when he shows up, will be our mentor manager, if you will. And then we have our guest today, Jack Whitaker, talking about utility concierge. And then Ryan's got some really great news with career services. And of course, a whole lot of updates about the industry, about brokerage, about broker review, just in general, answering some questions to get us off on the right foot today and this year for that matter. And some exciting news about our CE classes as well. So those that are on this call will get first shot at signing up for Legal 2, which is our February class. So I'm excited about that. And as people keep on coming in, it's great. Of course, you're going to go from there. All right. All right. So as we get started, I want to, if you're on the call, thank you very much for joining HomeSmart. If you're not on the call, make sure if you see these people, these have all joined in December and then into this month of January. So this is exciting. As you can see the names there. I won't read them all out because it's of time, but welcome to HomeSmart, our new HomeSmart family there. So, and Renata raised her hand. Go ahead, Renata. What is up?
It was an accident.
Oh, okay. You're good to go then. All right. Well, anyway, welcome everybody to the team. For those that are new to HomeSmart, for those that are newer or need a refresher, HomeSmart provides a new agent orientation. Basically, it says, where do you find things at HomeSmart? Who do you contact? Who's here to support you? And it's like a 1 hour long sort of Zoom or Google Meet like this. I'm going to hold the first one for anybody that wants to join me today at noon. So I have a link already, but if you didn't get it, just know that we're going to go over that. Basically, it just says, hey, what is HomeSmart about? Where do you upload your files? Who do you contact? What's the broker for? And that kind of stuff. So, and we're going to do this every month after the brokerage meeting. So just prepare in advance. If you ever need a refresher, there you go. And for our newer agents and existing agents, in your education video section, we have Smart Start, which is that deeper, intense series of on-demand courses that tells you basically the same thing. How do you access things at HomeSmart? Which is oftentimes a lot of questions we get. Where's this at? Smart Start's a great place to go and refresh your memory. And then Elevate is all of our executives got together and did some trainings last year, and they're on demand as well. And it goes everything from doing a business plan to doing a budget to marketing yourself to growing your business. Really, really good stuff. So what a great time of the year to go back and revisit this if you haven't seen them already. But go check it out because this is a prepared training for you to grow your business. So as people keep on joining, which is awesome. Okay. So now we're up as we have Minute Mortgage. Minute Mortgage is a sister and owned by HomeSmart. Angel Chambers is in charge of that, and she is licensed here in Texas. So I invited Angel to talk to us about what's going on with Minute Mortgage and the mortgage industry. Angel, you're up.
Good morning. Thank you, Marty. Happy New Year to everyone, and welcome to all of the new agents that have joined HomeSmart. I did want to actually touch on the slide that you just mentioned, Marty, with the Elevate training that's going on. I'm not sure if any of you have had an opportunity to sit through trainings with Todd Sumney, but he's incredible. He is, full of so much energy and knowledge, and really, truly, if you follow his strategies and information that he provides, everyone has had success with that. So I just wanted to add to that. I love Todd, and I think he does an amazing job for the company. So if you have an opportunity to participate, definitely do so. Okay, so let's talk about Minute Mortgage. So again, my name is Angel Chambers. I'm with Minute Mortgage. We are part of the family of companies. So we are owned under the HomeSmart umbrella. And Minute Mortgage is a broker. So that's a great advantage for us that we have the ability that we can shop the open market for programs and the most competitive interest rates, which has been a huge priority for us these days with rates. We are seeing things go in a great downward trend with rates. So we're kind of back down to that 6% range, which is exciting and good news for us, especially to kick off 2024. We do all of our processing in-house though. So I'd like to point that out because that gives us a little bit more control over the transaction, the communication side of it, and just to really make sure that everything goes smoothly for you as well as your clients and make sure that we're meeting those close of escrow dates. So we've got a well-oiled machine, and we do offer every program. So again, us being a broker, we're not limited on the products that we offer. So we have some great first-time homebuyer products, FHA, VA, bank statements, you name it. And we definitely are working with someone that has that program. I would say we specialize probably most in first-time homebuyers. So if you guys find that you are working with, any first-time home buyers, I would love an opportunity to at least have a conversation with them and let them know what we can offer. There's a lot of new programs that they're continuing to roll out in the industry. The newest one has been the grant program, which is almost up to $6,000 in credits that can be used towards down payment and closing costs. As well as a free appraisal and a free 1-year home warranty. So a lot of great things that are out there. So, as we're trying to make home buying affordable, we're trying to really get the word out about some of these programs. So I would highly recommend you reach out and I can share more information about that. So how do you send Minute Mortgage business? There's a couple different ways. We do offer a co-branded link. So we can highlight you as the real estate agent, and then we can have our contact information so that you can send it to your clients via text or email. So it's a great way for them to apply online with the application. And we also have the Minute Mortgage website, which is full of some great information, and they can also apply directly from there. We do same-day pre-qualifications as long as we receive it within reason. If it's late in the evening, it'll most likely be the next day, so within 24 hours. So we want to make sure that you guys are not, skipping a beat, especially if they have a property that they're interested in making an offer. We want to make sure that they can move forward quickly with that. Is there any, I haven't had an opportunity to really speak with the agents in Texas, so I don't know if there's anything specifically that you guys are looking for that I can assist with. I will throw my contact information in chat so that you guys know how to reach out to me. But if anybody is, wanting to ask a question while we're here in the meeting, I'm happy to address that. Otherwise, you guys can reach out via email or text. And I'm happy to help in any way with your mortgage needs.
And Angel, if our agents send a loan over or buy or do a pre-qual and qualification, they're working with you right now, aren't they?
That is correct, yes. And then Ashley Gomez is the processor, and she is obtaining her license as well. So yes, we are absolutely, it'll be either one of us helping. And to give you guys a little bit of background as well, and I didn't touch on this, I apologize. I actually got started in the mortgage industry in '93 through 2008, and then I actually joined HomeSmart. So I have actually been with the company for 15 years. So it's been pretty exciting just to see the evolution of HomeSmart, but it definitely is an advantage of being very familiar with the HomeSmart systems and the way that we do business and kind of carrying that over to mortgage with my knowledge. So it's been great to step back into mortgage and be able to help all of the agents, that I've worked with for so many years. So I'm excited to tap into the Texas market as well. Just to let you know, Minute Mortgage is licensed in Texas, Arizona, Colorado, and Georgia. So even any referrals that you guys have, happy to assist with that as well.
And then last question, obviously, with that too, if a buyer or an agent say they need a pre-qual on a weekend, will it be get done by Monday then, or is it available on a weekend too?
No, so that's one of the things that I like to promote is the fact that I work 7 days a week. So I work your guys' hours. So you guys need assistance, again, whether it's a question, pre-qualification, do not hesitate to reach out to me evenings and weekends. If, for any reason I missed your call, I will absolutely give you a call back. I also do want to point out one of the great differentiators with Minute Mortgage, and this is pretty significant, is we do not charge an origination fee.
Hold on. Go ahead and mute yourself, guys. There you go. Go ahead, Angel.
So just wanted to let you know. So if you have somebody, especially, that is really, price sensitive on all of the fees that are adding up, down payments, again, we do not charge an origination fee. So that's pretty significant. Savings kind of right out of the gate. Very beneficial also to a first-time home buyer. So I want to make sure to point that out.
Thanks for bringing that up. It always shocks me. I'm like, oh, what? Yeah, that's a big saving.
It's huge. I mean, it definitely separates us from a lot of our competitors.
Wonderful. All right. Well, you guys can reach out to Angel in the chat. Nice job, Brian. Angel, thank you very much for joining us. We'll probably have you again next month as well, if you're available. So
absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and Happy New Year again.
Yep. Happy New Year. All right. Next up, we got Robert Aldridge, the HSI Commercial. Let me pin you up here, Robert. There we go. And I'll unpin. All right. I'll unpin. There we go. Perfect. All right, Robert, take it away.
Sounds great. Are you going to be able to share? Or do you want me to share my website?
Oh, I'll share it when you're ready. You want to do that now?
Sure. Yeah. So everybody, I'm new to this position. I'm not new to HomeSmart. So I've been to HomeSmart about 4 years. And I've just taken over the role to run our HSI Commercial division, which is live and active in Houston and Atlanta. So we have a couple agents, and we're looking to grow in our Houston office. So on the call, I think we have Erin Willis. Erin, are you there? Say hello to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Erin's one of our fantastic agents in that market. Hey, Erin, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Great.
Excellent.
So Erin and I have been working on some stuff together. She's super busy, but she's always looking for referrals. So if you need someone, Erin, do you geographic everything in Houston, or do you have an area that you specialize in?
I'm pretty well versed in the Houston area, Harris County for sure. So not really restricted, and definitely working on some deals outside of Houston, going as far as Dallas and Lake Jackson.
Awesome. So I've enjoyed working with Erin and getting to know her. And then we also have Tracy Feder. I don't know if Tracy was able to join. Tracy, if you are, you can unmute yourself. So websites was, been around for a little bit, but I just want to make sure you guys were all aware of it. As we grow our team, we're going to have more and more agents here. We have a new feature on our website, Erin. This is pretty cool. Marty, if you go to that listings page there. Now, I'm trying to figure out why Erin's listings are not in here, but this is a link to LoopNet CoStar. It has all of our listings in there. We have one guy in Georgia who's got a ton of them. So that's our Jeff Hammond, our #1 agent in Atlanta. But it just went live today, and I'm trying to figure out why Erin's not in there. So Erin, I'll get your listings active soon. But this will show basically everything that HSI Commercial has listed for lease or for sale in CoStar LoopNet. So it's great to have our MLS connected directly with our website. So it's a huge upgrade for us. So that's our location. That's where we are. That's who we are. Always looking for referrals. A little bit of background on me. So I've been in commercial real estate for 28 years. I've managed properties all across the US, and I've had properties in Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. I've been all around Texas and driven the whole state, done deals in every corner of the state. So love Texas, love visiting. I hope to come out and see you guys soon. But yeah, if you want to, join with one of our, if you're doing commercial deals and you want to come into the commercial side of the business, you can contact me. My contact information is right there. It's on our website too. The only real prerequisite that we have is that we like that if you haven't taken CE classes specifically about commercial real estate, we'd like to get you through a couple of those just so you're up with the lingo and the vocabulary of our division, and then we'll help you get started. We have access to both CoStar and LoopNet, which are kind of our primary MLS services nationwide. And then we also have a deal with Crexi, which is a great service that we use for listing properties for sale on the commercial side. And then there's tons of variants outside of that, land.com, and other sites that we use for listing properties. So we'll help you and support you. The commercial team is fantastic. We're excited to be in Texas. I love working with Marty. So any questions you have, just reach out and someone on our team or myself will help you out. I have one tip really quick, Marty. So I was telling our folks in Atlanta, one tool I use that I think anybody could benefit from, it's these devices that you can put in your car. It's from T-Mobile. It's called Sync Up. I think it's something different on Verizon. It basically tracks your mileage. If you haven't used one of those and you're using Mile IQ or something like that to track your mileage for your business, consider looking into one of these ODB devices that you plug into your car. It's the coolest thing ever. You can buy them used on eBay for probably $20. The cell phone companies usually charge about $10 a month for that, and it tracks everywhere you go in your car, and it'll give you a spreadsheet at the end of the year that you can use for your taxes. So it's incredible. No more little notebook, and then you get the Mile IQ off your phone that's eating up your data and your space on your phone. So that's my super tip today for all of our agents.
What is it called?
It's called, for T-Mobile, it's called Sync Up, and I think Verizon has a different version, but
Like
pretty much
SYNC?
SYNC-UP and on T-Mobile. And then everybody else has a different version, but it's just a little device you plug in your car. It even tells you if you've got issues with your car. So I have one. It just, it tells me when I'm running out of gas or my battery's low. And then also it even provides you Wi-Fi in your car too. So you can throw your laptop in there and gives you up to 2 gigs of Wi-Fi on T-Mobile. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever. So that's my tip for everybody. Thanks,
Very
Marty.
nice. Hey, Robert, real quick question on there. If I know being part of HSI Commercial, which is a separate agreement with HSI Commercial underneath
Yes.
HomeSmart, you have discounted rates to LoopNet and CoStar and that kind of stuff. Touch on that real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, so we negotiated for reduced rates for CoStar and LoopNet. So it's based on the number of agents we have, so that price fluctuates. Right now, it's discounted from, I think, the regular off the street rate is somewhere around $500 to $600, and we're about $410 a month for nationwide LoopNet. So you can basically look up any commercial property, ownership information, whatever you want. Any commercial property in the United States is listed on CoStar, so you can find it, get all the information you need, and prospect using that tool. So that's a fantastic tool. And then for Crexi, which Crexi Pro used for listing, and that service is around $200 a month. We've negotiated that rate down. So those are two of our primary services. But yeah, the commercial plan, if you're doing a lot of commercial deals and you want to learn more about the commercial plan, just reach out to me and I'll give you all the details.
Wonderful. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. It says your video keeps freezing, Kimla says, but that's part of the bandwidth, Kimla. We'll go there. Okay. There's the website. All right. Next up is Billy here. Billy, you here?
I'm right here, Marty.
All right. Good. Let me get you pinned up here. I'm going to unpin Robert. Where to go? Oh, hold on. There we go. Unpin Robert. Take it away, Billy.
All right. Thank you, Marty. Hey, guys.
Yep.
Hope everybody's having a good New Year's and starting strong this year. So just kind of wanted to touch back on the mentoring program, just letting everybody know we still have it available, and we are always looking to have more mentors come in that have the availability and the time to take on some of the mentees. So, we definitely are looking. We have great mentors right now, but we are looking for new mentors. I'm working with Marty to kind of revamp some of the program and make sure it fits the criteria of the mentors and the mentees, so to get you guys all of the training that's needed on there. So, we're definitely here. Just want to keep that in mind and keep everybody's mind fresh on it. Hopefully we can, start doing some video classes or something to start bringing some of you guys into the program and giving you more information on it.
And with that, if you're thinking about it in the past, you may have been a very productive, busy agent for years, but maybe your business, you're not as slowed down a bit. Maybe you just want to give back. If you have the time, and mentoring takes some time to walk agents through the first 3 transactions. So we're trying to look at that to make it better for the mentors, but also the mentees. And so the idea there is that you can be someone that's brand new or someone that's 10 years experience that wants to get revamped up. It's a way to kind of refocus your business for 3 transactions. So reach out to Billy. And like I said, we should have some changes, hopefully, improvements coming in the near future. But thank you all that are.
You don't have to be a brand new agent to be a mentee. So we do have agents that have been in the business, kind of stepped away for a little bit, or are not doing a lot of stuff. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to be a brand new agent.
Wonderful. Anything else, Billy? That's awesome.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Billy's our mentor manager. He runs a team of mentors and, of course, assigns the mentees to a mentor. And so doing a good job. And then, of course, Robert's putting some stuff in the info. Hey, Billy, put your information in the chat box too, will you?
Yes, definitely. Put it in right
That'd
now.
be great. Thank you, sir. I'm going to unpin you. All right. All right. Next up, I believe we have our guest. We do. We have our guest, Jack Whitaker. Jack is coming to us. He's filling in for our rep for Utility Concierge. I wanted him to come join us and talk to us a little bit about Utility Concierge. A lot of our agents call and don't know what this is. A lot of times we'll get a call that their client at closing got a call from Utility Concierge on behalf of the agent, and people are like, well, what's this about? And so what is the service and so forth? So I wanted Jack to come on and kind of tell us about it. Jack, welcome and to our meeting. And I'm going to put you up here as well and pin you. There we go. All right, Jack,
Awesome.
Take it away.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. So, we are Utility Concierge. Sydney Knopf is, I'll share her information, everything towards the end of this. She is y'all's dedicated rep, and she is on a plane right now. So I'm happy to join in. I am a Houston native myself. So I hope we're all making sure our pipes are going to stay somewhat unfrozen as we approach the weekend here. But just to give a little backstory, we started in 2009 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. The main office is in Farmers Branch, I believe, if anyone is particularly familiar with all of the suburbs of Dallas, which I'm not. So like I said, we've been around since 2009. And we have worked with y'all at HomeSmart for, I believe, our 2-year anniversary will be next month. And Marty, I know Cindy, I think, sent you some slides.
Yep.
I don't know if they all got put on here. I'll just, if you want to go to the next one, I'll just slide through them real quick.
You got it. There we go.
So like I said, I appreciate your help me out here. So like I said, we've been around since 2009, worked with y'all at HomeSmart since February of 2022. And if you want to move on to the next one. So just a brief overview is we reach out to your clients about 2 to 3 weeks before before they close, excuse me. And HomeSmart, y'all's RSA is what we're synced up with. The criteria is buyer side transactions that go under contract will be able to shoot over to us. And that is where we will wait until that 2 to 3 week timeline, and that's when we'll reach out to your clients. And saying that, I know some folks, if you may have not heard of us yet, we always do try to introduce ourselves, me or Sydney as the account managers, to y'all to let you know about the service. I know we send some, orientation emails and resources, things like that. Of course, you are always free to opt out of the service. So if you have a specific client that doesn't want to use us, or if you yourself do not want to take advantage of the service, perfectly fine. Let us know in an email or give us a call, and we can make sure you're opted out. So that's always at you and your client's discretion, of course. If you'd like to go to the next one, please. Thank you. So just to go over some of the basics, for the home services that we work with, we're authorized dealers for the majority, especially here in Texas, the majority of all of the big internet service providers, TV providers, and home security providers, as well as electricity providers, which is certainly unique here. So just to touch on the internet real quick, we are going to, we want to make it consultative. When the concierge is asking the questions, because we work with all of the, big companies. I know in Houston, it's a lot of AT&T, a lot of Comcast. I know Fidium Fiber is kind of in, I'm not super familiar with them. I know they are in some of the surrounding areas of town. Dallas is like all AT&T. So when we're looking at a home, we're going to see, who's available, and then we're going to ask, some qualifying questions to see, kind of what the client can expect and what the client actually needs. A big one is how many people are living in the home, and that, kind of ends at that leads to the main question: does the maximum speed and therefore the maximum price make sense for them? We want to suggest what is the best option. So is it a client that is, maybe an elderly gentleman that lives alone? He probably doesn't need the $100 a month internet. But is it a family, both, husband and wife work from home, they have 4 kids that all like to play video games? Those are much different, situations that require different internet setups. So we always want to, tailor our suggestions to the, the client's situation. And that's internet. Next one up is TV. If you don't mind going to the next one for me. Thank you. TV, real quick. A lot of folks don't get it anymore if they don't already have every, streaming service known to man, or YouTube TV or Hulu TV, everything like that. If a client is interested in cable TV, we have certain options. We do want to bundle it with internet if possible, save a little bit of money. And, we have options. We also work at DirecTV. So DirecTV has, it's called DirecTV Stream. Where it works essentially the same as YouTube TV or Hulu TV. Not to get too into the weeds, the main thing is if it's someone that is very passionate about having their cable TV, be it for sports or certain channels, we want to make sure they are getting exactly what they want. So, if it requires getting a specific sports package, or I know my mom loves Turner Classic Movies, and it's hard to find the, TCM on, the basic channels. So that's essentially what we're going to do for TV. If it's someone that they want, that's the main thing we're going to be looking for, is, trying to make sure they get the exact package, because it can be a little tricky. Perfect. And smart security, last but not least, there's also, to not get too much into the weeds, there's so much technology out there. There's so many different setups that are possible and financing options. So, if a client is interested in security, we're going to build out the package for them live on the phone. So, we're going to get an idea of what they want, what their experiences are that maybe with security systems, or why they would want a security system. And, essentially, we're going to do our best to save them money, to maybe cut some of the unnecessary equipment, and let them know how, kind of what is driving up the price the most. People like cameras. Cameras are pretty cool. There's all sorts of fun technology out there, but they also have pretty wide lens. So typically you only need a couple of them, not one for every corner or exterior wall of your home. So we're just gonna help them figure out exactly what they need to get them the most the lowest possible monthly rate. And we do have some associated discounts with ADT, Brinks, Vivint, and Guardian. Those are the 4 companies we work with. We have a $200 flat discount that we can apply, and depending from there, we can waive the installation fee. Kind of work our magic a little bit to help clients out.
Wonderful.
Perfect. And the basics, last one. So here in the state of Texas, we can help shop around for electricity contracts if they are in a the correct term is a deregulated area. Essentially, as long as you're not in a co-op, they're going to have to buy their own electricity. They're a first-time home buyer or someone moving from out of state. That is something that even us Texans that have lived here our whole lives still do not fully stand the inner workings of ERCOT and our own grid. So we can help shop around for electricity. And just to touch briefly on water and gas, those are quote unquote regulated utilities, meaning that they are through the city of Houston or Harris County, Fort Bend County. Those are something that the clients are going to have to set up themselves, essentially, because they're through this, a local provider. They won't work with third parties or set up authorized dealers. So as it says here, we're going to get them all the information they need. We're going to, provide them phone numbers, links to directly set up their account online. We're going to let them know what documents and details that they'll need to include. But, I always like to say we'll get them as close to the finish line as we legally can with water and gas in Texas. All right. And just, some nice saving client, we're going to save you time. We're going to save your clients time. I believe on average, setting all of this stuff up can take up to 8 hours. And, if we can align the stars correctly, sorry about this being a little off kilter there. Working with one of our concierges, it's a one-stop shop. It's going to take 30 minutes to an hour. They're going to have everything set up. So, we're in with so many moving parts going on with the closing. We are taking, a big chunk of time off their plate. And I believe this is last but not least. Awesome. This is just, that's not me. That is Sydney. And feel free to reach out to her if you have any follow-up questions, would like to know a little bit more. And, if you see me around or if I answer your call, I'll be happy to talk to you too. We're very friendly folks, so I can talk all day long. And the one thing I like to promote is the support page, which I will post right now. We have that set up for all HomeSmart agents. That has our contact information, that has some general support materials, and it has some marketing materials as well. So in case me or Cindy have not sent them to you when we after we talk to you, has some flyers in English and Spanish, as well as just some other good support material for y'all to have to learn a little bit more about us, or answer a question immediately.
I can't
So
see
Jack,
that.
hold on. Let me,
Number.
Terry, go ahead.
The first number of the phone number. I can't see it for some reason on my phone.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
972.
972.
9. Okay.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Okay. Thanks for hyping up, Terry. Jack, I'm going to summarize this real quick. Utility Concierge is a affiliate partner with HomeSmart. It's an optional service for our agents and their clients to opt in or opt out, where you as a third party, free to our client and free to us,
Yes.
help them get connected to their services and their new home. Pretty much. That's
Precisely.
what it is. Yeah. So you're trying to save your client money. So if you're talking to your client and prep them ahead of time that Utility Concierge will be calling them, and it's a free service that they don't have to use, but that it could save them time and energy picking out the right utility, especially if they're moving from out of state. They may not know the choices they have. So you give them a smorgasbord. Here's your choices. What do you, and you choose and go from there. Perfect. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page as everybody else.
Yes. Thank you, Marty. That's, I appreciate it. That helps. It sums it up. And if I didn't say it, yes, totally free for you and your clients alike. We've been free since day one.
Wonderful. Any quick questions for Jack? Thank you for presenting, by the way, Jack. Appreciate it.
Of course. Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And his contact and stuff's in the chat as well as we're moving along. So I'm going to go ahead and unpin you. Go on to, I'm getting better at this. Hold on here. Unpin. Here we go. All right. Next up is Ryan Ruge, or Ruge. I always mess up his name, but Ryan's our career services. He's the man. Let me go ahead and get Ryan highlighted here. Hold on, Ryan.
You ready? This is the musical portion.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Wrap them with Ryan. I've renamed everything. Commercial corner, mortgage minute. Wrap them with Ryan. So here we go. Ryan, take it away.
Bust a rhyme, right? You ready? No. Okay. Don't worry about it. And maybe appropriately, if it started with the W, I think that makes sense because I'm gonna get into some 2023 kind of wrap up information. But I am Ryan. As Marty mentioned, I am the recruiter here. So most of y'all remember me from onboarding you. In fact, actually, let me put my contact information, right? Because I'm still relevant. All right. I want y'all to know me. Keep my contact information because I will help you with referrals and whatnot. But my job is to basically reach out to agents and sell HomeSmart, right? It's recruiting and sales at a bit. And I've been in sales all my life. And in my past life, I had a position, and we describe sales as an intense belief and an ability to transfer that belief, right, to others.
That's good.
And I brought this up, and I mean, look, I've got my HomeSmart hat. I'm rocking. You cut me, I bleed HomeSmart red, right? This is what I look like at the gym. The hat's usually because I'm balding, but yeah, I have all this on. I believe HomeSmart is the best brokerage in Houston. Just is. So I was speaking, we all met, as a staff and a team, and I brought up to our amazing staff how easy they made my job. They make it really easy because I know that I can speak to agents and that aren't with us, and in full faith tell them that I know that we've got their back and we're going to help them out. But I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't include y'all in that, and all of our agents. Y'all are amazing. And I knew that going in, but then I did some statistics and I put some numbers together about last year. And if on the next slide, let me show you. So clearly y'all feel the same way I do, and y'all are really the right. How do you get the hat? I believe it's on our team store, so you can find that through RSA to get one too. Shirts, whatnot. I love it. Go out there. We're billboards, right? I love our agents interact, right? We lift each other up. I see y'all every day, and I know you're doing that out in the community, and y'all are really our voice out there. And so some stats on last year, we had almost 300 new agents, right? That's bigger than a ton of brokerages here in Houston. That's what we added last year. But get this, 131 of them came from y'all, right? They were referrals from y'all. You going out there and speaking and knowing agents and knowing your community and being out there and involved and speaking our praises, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. Y'all are making us bigger and stronger. 44% of my job was because of y'all. Thank you. You're going to get me fired, but thank you. Love y'all. Absolutely. So, and 89 separate agents are the ones that sent us those referrals. 89. I mean, that's huge. So some thanks to these folks in particular, because someone's gonna make them. Okay. Make the shirts. That works. So yeah, thanks to Ola Wasui. I'm probably butchered that. Sorry. Dada, Lizette Labarca, Danera Martinez, Tracy, Frederick, Faraya, Qureshi. They crushed it with 4 referred hires. They all tied for second place on just bringing people in last year. Justin Braden, though, holy cow, he's literally going to take my job. He had 23 referred hires. He had 23 folks that he brought on board. That's absolutely amazing. I don't think he's on the call today. He couldn't make it. But he's got a thing or two to teach me about recruiting. So I have a special lunch. I'm taking him to a gift card, to kind of just to show as a token of appreciation for all of his hard work. So really amazing. If y'all want to catch up to Justin for this year, I'm all about it. So get with me and I can help you out with that. And that's the next slide. If you go to that one and kind of share another benefit of y'all or to y'all for doing that, right? For bringing folks on board. We had a promotion last quarter. That one died. We put the kibosh on that. It didn't have the turnout it would, and I'm happy about that. We can kind of all be happy about that, just because the metrics they had for it had a lot of hoops you had to jump through, and now we're making it easy again. We're just doing the refer 3, so no production requirement, nothing like that. Give me 3 agents on board, and then there's a short little document you send. Once you've reached that mark, I send that into corporate, and then you get a credit for $300, which is like saying basically a year of free dues, right? It's you're basically a credit for those dues. So we have the refer 3 back, which I'm excited about just because it's nice and simple. It's metrics we can actually keep. And so another tool that we can use to kind of get you there is on the next slide. This is something that we're extending to new agents, right? So if you know anyone that's interested, or maybe they're going through some changes. There's a ton of changes still. I think last time I spoke to y'all, I mentioned how there are a lot of brokerages changing. That never stopped. I expected that to kind of like halt. There are a ton of brokerages just selling or changing profit sharing things or changing their comp structure in ways that are frustrating agents and making them come on board. Y'all saw that slide that Marty showed of all the folks that hopped over last month. Well, if you have folks that way in that kind of position, talk to them about this promotion. It's pretty amazing. So they will have no monthly fees, no monthly dues if they manage to sign up this year for the entirety of 2024. They get 1,000 free business cards. I waive their sign on, and which actually, just so y'all know, any referral, anytime, let me know. I'll waive a sign on for them too. Another benefit you can say, just coming from a HomeSmart agent, talking to me, let me know. I'll waive their sign on. That's another benefit you can offer at any time. But this year or this month, they get the no dues, and then they get up to 3 transferred listing signs, which are like a generic sign. to make it easy on them. So if they have some current listings out there, those transfer. All right, that's important to know too. Likely that they won't have an issue transferring those over to HomeSmart. So we will give them up to 3 transferred listing signs as well. They're generic. They have like the office number on there, but it makes it a lot easier to switch over. And that's the idea, is we want to make it easier. So it's a rolling kind of thing, right? So if you get 1, 2, 3 out of this, if you get all 3, boom, you have no dues. If you get 1 or 2, that's okay. It's rolling. As soon as you get that 3 threshold and you get me 3 folks, that's when your credit kicks in. So, so really neat promotions all around. There's a benefit to anyone that you add on board. And just really proud of y'all. If y'all have any questions, my contact info is in the chat. Don't forget me. Keep that in there, because you never know when there's someone across the table that you can bring on board and make us even bigger and stronger.
Awesome. I'll unpin you real quick. Now, to Ryan's point, us as a brokerage, something I wanted to do every single month, we're going to look back and see who referred the most number of agents to HomeSmart. And we're going to provide a little, like a $25 gift card to the winner every month, just because this is how important it is for a brokerage, is to get our name out there. And as Ryan said, we're human billboards, but who better to champion HomeSmart than you, the agents that work here? So the better we do, hopefully you guys will be our champions out there and letting everybody know that we got a good thing going here and they should join us. So Ryan, thank you, sir.
Thank y'all, sincerely.
All right, this is yours truly. I'm not sure if I want to pin myself or not. So let me see here. I'll do that. I'll pin myself. There we go. All right. Lots of stuff to go over. Some good news and all stuff to do as well. Thanks, Billy, for putting that back in the chat. Couple of things I want to know in your Real Smart Agent download section. A whole bunch of new stuff has been downloaded for you that during January, you should go take a look at those. Obviously, the independent contractor agreement that everybody, basically, once it's emailed to you, now you're subject to the new ICA for 2024. It's in your download sections. Go review it. Look for any changes, make updates, whatever it may be. The policies and procedures manual has been updated, which is company-wide. The state addendum, the Texas state addendum, this things specific to Texas about our policies are there as well. So oftentimes it's just a misunderstanding around policy and procedure, what we do, how we operate here. Go check it out. It's right there. It's brand new in your Real Smart Agent download. The new E&O certificate, if you need that, is down there as well. And then the rest of the forms there are already been there. I just want to remind you that if you need the affiliated business disclosure, it's in your download section. I just posted the agent service area. So I asked agents where they service, what kind of business they do, and if they're open for referrals. And everybody that participated in that, I put the list, the current list, in your download section. So if you're looking for an agent to refer business to that's outside of your area, that's in our office, it's on that list. So go search it out. Also, our agents been put together. I asked who you use. Who do you use for title? Who do you use for insurance? Who do you use for inspectors? And so our agents put names in that they work with, especially for our newer agents. What a great place to go and look for, hey, I need a photographer. Hey, I need an inspector. Hey, I need a survey person. Those are recommendations by your fellow agents here at HomeSmart available in your download section. So go look for that. Obviously, the current IABS with my information is there as well. A lot of agents are always looking for the commission waiver letter. It's maybe named inappropriately, but whenever you contribute some of your commission to a buyer, a seller, or somebody else, this is a form that is not required, but can be used to provide to the title, to lender, to whoever may need it. The builder typically is the case that you're contributing your commission to your client. Now, and it has to be signed by me. That's available in your download section as well, labeled commission waiver letter. I got a call the other day about W-9s. The 2024 signed W-9 is now in your Real Smart Agent download. So if you need that for any of your files, your referrals and so forth, it is there. The apartment locator invoice is still there. And newly, these have been there for a long time, but late paperwork and incomplete paperwork forms are there. So you're going to start seeing our broker review. You have 5 days from an executed contract, a listing contract, a lease, a buyer purchase contract, whatever it may be. You have 5 days to get it into Real Smart Agent and upload it. If it's past that, you're going to get a late notice or late paperwork notice. You'll have to fill out late paperwork why it's late and upload it. And then if it's reasonable that you're out of town, whatever it may be, then we can waive any kind of fees. But be aware, we're going to watch for that now because TREC holds us to that responsibility. We've got to have all files on all transactions, everything you do with your license in Real Smart Agent for 4 years. So make sure, and within 5 days, so make sure you guys are doing that. Okay. Next up, this is the most common questions I'm going to run through for a brokerage. There's a lot more after this, but these are questions we're getting. I'm going to answer these today. The first one is the buyer tenant rep agreement. Yes, it is required. Yes, it is. If you're representing a buyer or a tenant, you have to have the buyer tenant rep agreement. Because in the state of Texas, we have a fiduciary duty to the seller at all times, unless we actually have a signed agreement, agency agreement with the buyer. And so we'll go into more of that later, but it just, yes, it's required. That's why we require it as well. Otherwise, you have to disclose to your buyer that you have a fiduciary duty to the seller as a subagent. Okay. Question, what am I being fined for? That's a common one. We'll go over some of the common fees and fines just to get you in compliance and us in compliance with TREC when we get audited by the state. Can I represent both parties? I get that question a lot. We have an intermediary policy. The simple answer is no, but with intermediary, you can with conditions, and we'll go through that. Where do I find the new MUD forms? I want to cover that. Where is the new W-9? We just covered that. How do I disclose an ownership interest? That's a common question. We'll cover that. What are the required documents for this type of file? Those have all been updated as well for all of you to know in your Real Smart Agent download. Every type of transaction, vacant land, personal transactions, commercial leases, all of them have been updated to reflect the documents we require for you when you do those transactions. So check those out, download them, save them as a reference sheet in the future. Yes, Maria, go ahead. Maria?
No, that's fine. Never mind. It was
Okay.
one accident.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing how do I get into the Facebook group? Okay, we're gonna cover that today as well. I'm doing apartment locating. How do I get paid? The number one question we get: where's my money? You know, and oftentimes it deals with rental transactions where we represented a tenant and we're waiting for the other brokerage to pay us, or and so on and so on. We'll talk about that. Can you do this for me? I get a lot of questions about, hey, can you run the CMA for me? Hey, can you check numbers for me? And some of that is we'll do what we can, but there is a limit to what we can do. That's why we have the mentor team. That's why we have support and team managers and so forth. How do I form a team? Common question. The newest one is, can HomeSmart pay my LLC, S Corp, sole proprietorship directly? Can it pay my entity? Good news on that. We'll cover that. And of course, how do I form a team? HRR dues. I can't pay them right now. What are my options? And are you providing CE classes? Kind of the things I'm going to cover here shortly. Okay, first one. Yes, we covered this already, but the buyer tenant reps are required when you represent a buyer or a tenant. Please use them. With all the lawsuits nationwide, this is around disclosure and representation with your buyer. Make sure that you are including them. The sooner the better in the transaction to explain what agency is. We have a duty once we meet a client to disclose if we represent any party. After we have a substantive conversation, we must give them an IABS about what agency is and what their choices are. And then beyond that, we've got to establish a buyer-tenant rep if we're going to represent them in a transaction. Then once we establish that agency relationship, we disclose it in the purchase and sale, the contract between parties. File creation, I already talked about this. We must get all your files in once they're executed. A listing agreement is usually the one that people don't know about, but once you sign a listing agreement and put it on the market, get that paperwork in within 5 days so you don't get a late paperwork notice. We've got a duty from TREC to keep all our files for 4 years on everything. Failed transactions, terminated transactions, canceled files, closed files, listings that didn't sell, all of them. Okay. Fines and fees. We covered this before in the past, but just wanted to give you another snapshot of this. We're looking at incomplete paperwork. If it's not complete after 30 days, you'll get a notice to use the incomplete paperwork form and a possible fine. Late paperwork, that's the paperwork due after that isn't uploaded within 5 days after execution. If there's no file, this is where if you've listed a property on the MLS, it's been on the market, you haven't uploaded your paperwork, you haven't created a file after 2 notices from paperwork. If you still haven't created a file, we will create it for you and charge you $50. So that is for a file creation for not having a file. Down here at the bottom. And then, of course, in some cases, if you've closed the transaction, but you never created a file, the fee could be up as high as $500 because you didn't comply with TREC rules or HomeSmart rules of getting your file in. So these include your personal transactions. If you're representing yourself and you're paying a commission, using your real estate license, everything you do with it needs to be uploaded into RealSmart Agent. If you are doing your own personal stuff without using your license, you don't. But check with me on everything to make sure that you're in compliance. Okay. Can I represent both parties? The answer is no. In the state of Texas, we have a fiduciary duty to our client, which means we can't have a fiduciary duty to 2 parties in the same transaction. That doesn't make sense. Texas does allow us to do an intermediary, and what an intermediary does is it allows both parties that you have a relationship with to amend their relationships. You no longer have a fiduciary duty to both parties. What you have is a duty to be honest and fair, but you can't advocate for either side. And Maria, you had a question there. Till when do I have to complete it and sign it? You don't have to sign the 2024 agreements, but based on your membership with HomeSmart, once they've been emailed out to you, there's no signature required by the agents. They apply automatically. So there's nothing to do on your part except for read it, because you're held to the 2024 agreements because of that's the way it's been delivered. So there we go. Anyway, back to intermediary. You do have options. Many of our agents don't understand that you can actually leave a other party unrepresented. So if you have a listing and a buyer comes and they don't have an agent, they can remain unrepresented. You just keep your relationship with the seller. Tell the buyer, are they okay with being unrepresented? You note it on the file that there's no buyer's agent, and then you can make the whole commission and pay 1 transaction fee. It's really the safest way of doing it, as long as we know and have disclosed with an IABS that the buyer understands without their choosing to be unrepresented. We can do every transaction that's HomeSmart to HomeSmart is an intermediary deal, meaning the broker, myself, is an intermediary in that transaction. I can't advocate for either side, meaning I can't give advice to either agent either that would benefit the listing side or the buy side. So we have to disclose to the buyer and the seller that in this HomeSmart to HomeSmart, that the broker is an intermediary. Both buyer's agent and listing agent still have their fiduciary duties to represent their side fully. Okay, that doesn't change, but the broker is now an intermediary. So you have to use a TXR 1409 on every HomeSmart to HomeSmart deal. That's a intermediary with appointments. The last one, which is the most confusing one, is the intermediary without appointments. That's where one agent is appointed by me, the broker, to do an intermediary between both sides. So we've got a process that's very strict on this. If you have a buyer's agent, listing agreement with the listing, and your buyer, whom you already have a buyer's agency agreement with, comes and wants to buy your listing, the seller and buyer both have to acknowledge in a TXR 1409 that they're okay with modifying their agency relationships with you and allowing you to be an intermediary. And you have to use the HomeSmart form that is a intermediary without appointments notice, so that the buyer and seller fully know what it means, that you no longer have a duty to put their interests above your own. You only have a duty to facilitate the transaction. Your buyer's agency agreement and your listing agreement have been modified to be an intermediary. It's very confusing, but it is one of those things that you need to be aware of, that we allow it. Check with me first, but it's always best if you can leave them unrepresented or have someone else represent the other buyer. Next on this, lots of updates. Yes, we're going to go a little bit long today. I see a lot of our agents using the HAR MUD Form 400. That form has gone away. They've discontinued the use of it. Do not use this form anymore. Go here on this. I'll send the slide deck out afterwards. If you list a home that's in a MUD district, you've got to go find that MUD district and get the form that they're using now to provide to the buyer's agent and buyer before execution. It's the listing agent's duty to find this and send it. Here's the 2 websites where you can find those forms. If they're not there, you have to call the MUD district directly to get it. Do not use the HER form 400 anymore. Get rid of it. It is no longer, if you do it, you're in a practice of law using the form that no longer works, if that makes sense. Okay. W-9s are now in RSA. I'll make this quick. How do I disclose an ownership interest? Generally, you just have to note it either in the MLS listing in the agent remarks. You have to disclose it in writing to the buyer's agent if you're the part owner of the listing. But also there's a form in your downloads called license holder disclosure. That's a written way to disclose to the other party that you have an ownership interest in the property you are representing. Okay. What are required documents for this transaction? Just an example here, as more people are joining, thankfully. The downloads down there, like I said, I've updated all the required documents. This is an example of what's required for representing a buyer in a purchase transaction. So we've got, and these are different versions of what's available in your download section. Okay. Common contract errors. A couple of things I want to point out here from the broker level here. These are things we see all the time, is agents not signing their contracts. So sign your agreements. Your buyer-tenant rep agreement is agreement between you and the broker and your buyer. We see a lot of buyer-tenant rep agreements signed by the buyer, but not signed by the agent on behalf of the broker. We don't have an agency relationship unless you sign it. So make sure you sign your agreement. Same thing with your general information and notice to the buyer has to be signed by you. Make sure we're signing our documents where us as the agent are required to fill in and sign on behalf of me. Fill in the execution date. We see a lot of contracts come through that are signed around. They're good deals, but no one's filled in the execution date to say when it started, when the clock starts. So make sure that you're checking for that and make sure there is a date in there. Upload your addendums that you included in your offer. So basically anything you put in your offer, a third party, MUD, whatever it may be that you've included, we're seeing a lot of files come through with the contract, but not the addendums that were supposed to be included. So make sure that those are lining up. And if you removed one, make sure that we know that. All right. And if the transaction is exempt for like a seller disclosure or whatever, put a note together, upload the note that it's exempt in that transaction file. It would help a lot of the paperwork team know that, so they won't like be bugging you for the file that doesn't need to be there. Obviously, update your details. We see a lot of movement around closing dates. Update your closing date. Update your commission. Update all the things that happens with the file so we know. So that if you're closing earlier and you need a CDA, but we see it's closing a month from now, it saves time, right? And then only check intermediary if you're actually an intermediary for both parties per policy. And of course, write unrepresented and choose none or unrepresented in RSA. So when you create a file where there's only one agent involved and you're representing the seller, let's say, or the buyer, and the other party is unrepresented, go into RSA. When it forces you to choose an other agent, choose none, no one, or unrepresented. They're all profiles we've created to work around the system so you don't get charged a second transaction fee and have to put your own name in there. Okay, quickly on this one, hopefully, let me know if the sound works on this one. Here we go. Can you hear it?
Welcome back to our video series, 1 Minute with Rich. I'm Rich LaRue, Vice President of Corporate Brokerages for HomeSmart's Western Region. I'm here today with some exciting news to share regarding a small but significant shift in our communication tools here at HomeSmart. With recent market changes, we've increased our focus on streamlining and simplifying the tools and processes we use in order to optimize connection and collaboration within our nationwide network. After listening to your feedback and after careful consideration, we've made the decision to transition away from Workplace and move back to the use of Facebook groups as our primary communication platform. And I'm happy to announce today, for those of you who have been eagerly awaiting, that our Facebook groups are already back up and running. We understand that change can feel overwhelming, but rest assured, this decision was made to foster growth across the amazing community we've already built at HomeSmart, and to make it even easier for all of us to stay connected and informed. To make this transition as smooth as possible, I do want to inform you of the following important dates so you can prepare. If you received your workplace invite but did not claim it in your account, this invite will be deactivated the week of January 15th, 2024. And more importantly, all claimed workplace accounts will be deactivated on January 26th, 2024. Be sure to log into your local Facebook group now if you haven't already. You may find a link in your local agent group on your RealSmart agent dashboard. Of course, if you have any questions or need assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to Agent Services at agentservices@homesmart.com or your local market leader. That's all for today's episode. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to our.
All right. I like the jazziness there. So we've got about 105 of our agents actually signed up with our HomeSmart group. It's not one you can find by searching. You've got to actually use the QR code or search for HomeSmart Houston Agent Connection. You have to request to join, and I'll approve you to join. It's been great. We're posting a lot of stuff in there, but I'm sharing this with everybody so you can use it again. Make sure you join our Facebook group. So we're going to do all our communications outside of email for upcoming events and stuff. So be aware of that. Does someone have a question? I thought someone had a question. Okay, we're moving along. Apartment locating service. There's a couple of things I want to mention about this. The invoice is in your download section. We have a lot of things where our agents are sending clients, potential clients, to apartment buildings for a locator invoice. We're finding out that over the thousands, literally thousands of apartment complexes around Texas, hundreds in Houston alone, they all belong to vendor providers, if that will. So we've joined to be able to get paid. Cafe vendor, RealSmart, Real Pages vendor services, net vendor, ops merchant, a bunch of others. So there's a process involved where the broker has to be a member of, and then we have to submit invoices. So we're in process of making this process easier. But for now, if you've sent a apartment locator to somebody, send me a copy of that so I know who the vendor is for that. So we don't have to do this after the fact, like you're waiting for your check and all of a sudden we've got to go through a month to get an approval for something. It delays you getting paid. So make sure you copy me on those. Okay. Where's my money? Obviously, this is funny. This is a generalization. Most of the time when we get this question, 55% of the time, it's because we've worked with a tenant and we're waiting for the money to come from the other brokerage. So this is that you don't have escrow involved or title involved with a check. Oftentimes we're waiting. So work with the other broker to make sure that money gets deposited, make sure the check gets sent. We have a upload place where you can upload checks from other brokers. We're working on an ACH so they can wire the money directly to us. Hopefully that's in place here this month. 20% of the time, though, if you haven't gotten paid yet or the money goes to escrow, it's because you haven't completed your paperwork. So make sure you check there first. 10% of the time, it's because the check got lost. We're working on that as well. But sometimes it goes to Arizona, sometimes it goes to Houston. Our process at both places is as soon as it comes in, we scan it into the system. And so unless it doesn't get there, which we've had people mail to the wrong address, we've had it and so on. So make sure we're communicating to the other side where to mail the checks to accurately. And of course, the about 5% of the time we're finding that HomeSmart agents listed their personal property for rent and never put it into HomeSmart at RealSmart. And now the other agent's looking for their payment for their commission. You can't do that, guys. Help me out here. All right. Fastly here. This is the big one for all of you. Yes, can HomeSmart pay an entity directly? LLC, sole proprietorship, S Corp, and so forth. The answer is now yes. January 1st, 2024, the legislature in Texas changed the rule. You can't market as a business. You can only collect money as an entity. So there's some process you have to follow. But yes, now the state of Texas is allowing HomeSmart to pay your entity. So if you're like Renata, you have Renata LLC, we can pay the LLC now versus paying you. In the past, we had to be a broker and a brokerage to be able to pay you your commission directly. We had to pay the agent directly. So here's the steps you have to follow, and we'll email this out as well. But you have to go into your Trek account. You have to start a new application. You have to select business entity registration. Then you select what type of business you have, LLC, S Corp, whatever it may be. And then you have to enter your name, your tax number, ID, contact information. You have to answer several questions. Then you submit all your documents that they require to Trek. And then wait, it says 10 business days for Trek to approve it. Once Trek approves it, you have to send that approval and your W-9 with your entity on it to me and to agent services, and we'll get that changed in the system. And just so you know, that's a process, obviously. But once you get set up, any future transactions, we can pay that LLC. We can't backdate it. We can't do transactions that are currently in process. But just be aware of that. And I got a question here on this. Can HomeSmart pay transaction coordinator as well? I mean, at closing. Yes. You can do that as well with the transaction coordinator. You can say this is a credit at closing. But this is one where we can pay the LLC as well at your direction. So, and I'll go deeper. There we go. More of this is on your Trek website. If you look there, the details of the documents that are needed. But right here, you have to be 51% or more owner of the LLC or the corporation. You got to provide the certificate of formation. You got to provide the account status, your IRS schedule, and so forth. There's a lot of stuff that you have to provide that to get certified and approved by Trek. So make sure you check that out. All right, how do I form a team? We get this a lot. Our team leaders that are on the call and the ones that are doing, we're getting a lot more teams. The HomeSmart model is really good for teams. There's a different agreement. It's option C. You pay a higher monthly fee, but your agreement between your team members is up to you as team leader, and your total team transaction fees are capped. So if you have a big team and do a lot of transactions, it saves you a ton of money. So, but we're set up well to do that with a flat transaction fee group. But you have to decide, once again, if you have a legal entity or you're going to have one, okay, what is that? Then you have to email me. I have a brand new team name. I want to form a team name. Send it to me so we can check your name against, the standards for advertising, and I'll approve it. Then you register you're doing business as, you're with the county clerk, wherever county you're in, Harris County, Montgomery County. Then you send that DBA certificate to agent services and copy me, the broker, and then go ahead and build your team. The key there, then you have to have, as you're recruiting your team, then you have to complete a team agreement. So how's your team going to operate and so forth. And when your team members come on, there's a sample team agreement I can send out to you if you want it. Then you go and file a plan change form, which is in your download section, that says I want to change from my agent option A form to a team agreement with HomeSmart. Sign that, send it to agent services. And then, of course, going forward, we want to make sure the team leader, you make sure that all your team members are set up as you as the team leader, so that whatever split you have with your team members gets taken care of at closing. That's kind of a responsibility there. And then grow it. It's like a mini brokerage within the brokerage. So it's a lot. All right, HER dues. A lot of people have left because of HER dues, because every year we pay them. They're expensive. You have your MLS dues and so forth. But we've got questions. If I can't pay my HER dues, what are my options? Well, first of all, there's a grace period. They want to get paid. They're going to give you reminders. We're going to give you reminders. It's not like Trek. When you don't renew your license, you automatically get unsponsored, because that's what Trek does at their end. Until you renew your license, we've got to re-sponsor you, if you will. HER is different. They'll send you notices. Last year, I think they went 2 months until you can pay. So pay it as soon as you can, because you were required to be a member of a board of realtors currently. If you cannot pay, though, there's other options. you can transfer to our referral only group. We have a group where you can't do any real estate business. You can't access the MLS, but you can refer clients to other agents and make a referral fee and still remain with HomeSmart. That's an option. If that is the case, reach out to Agent Services or myself, and we can help you do that. Lastly, you can go inactive until you can pay them and then come back and be active. So there are options, but I just want to make sure that you don't freak out. There will come a time when HER will make a demand on the brokerage saying, hey, you either have to terminate the agents or pay the bill yourself, and we'll notify you at that point in time. All right, you have a choice to make. And then they only get that, and I was told when Texas Realtors comes to HER and said, all right, these agents owe us money, so we're going to take it from you. So that's kind of the daisy chain. It goes downhill. So, okay. Once again, I mentioned this. If you don't renew your license in time, Trek unsponsors you. We don't get notice necessarily of that. But while you're unsponsored, obviously you're not working. You can't do your deals. You want to make sure your license is renewed early if you can. All right, these are the MLSs that we are members of. I think I joined a new one recently. So people always ask, can I join X? So if you want to join Austin Board of Realtors, San Antonio, Bryan College Station, Metrotech, and so forth, the answer is yes, as long as the broker is a member. We want at least 6 agents to be a member before, or want to be a member before we join, because it costs money, right? But these are the ones that we're currently members of, and you can join as a secondary membership. You still have to pay the dues, but it's a reduced amount to have access to these different MLSs. All right, quickly. Oh, and reminder, everybody, please continue to use the broker email. We now have a Zendesk ticketing system, keeps track of responding back to you, making sure we're up to date. And of course, you can always email me anytime and I'll get back to you. Education, here we go, big stuff. We're winding things down a little bit here. All training's been updated. We got a new cadence I put out by email to many of you. We have the brokerage meeting, which is what this is, the second Thursday of every month. We'll have the next one on February 11th. New agent orientation following every brokerage meeting. We have a contracts 101, the last Tuesday of the month. Yeah, I'll send you a team agreement, Maria. Okay. Meet and greet mixers. It's something we're doing new in the area, which is coffee and donuts with the broker. So once a month, I'm going to email out agents that live in a certain area, invite them to come join me for coffee and donuts. It's just a way to kind of hang out, get to know each other, have one-on-one time, versus like a big branch lunch we're going to have sort of in your area. So the first one's going to be up in the Woodlands, Montgomery County area. I already invited the agents. I'm going to show up with donuts. They're going to buy their own coffee. We're going to have a chat. No agenda, just to meet. And we're going to do the next one probably in Katy and then Sugar Land and so forth, just so you all know. Corporate training, CEs, bi-monthly coffee with the broker. Every other Tuesday, I have a coffee with the broker, which is office hours. You can jump on, Pearland to you. And then Friday lunch and learns now have been changed to be called Friday Fundamentals. So tomorrow, we're doing our first Friday Fundamental at 10 a.m. I'm covering networking 101. It should be a good class to tune into tomorrow. All right, that's what. CE classes. I mentioned this before. We're having a HomeSmart is providing and paying for 40 hours of clock hours throughout the year. 1 clock hour class per month, every single month, which is awesome. So our first one is, of course, next Wednesday. It's Legal 1. It's 4 hours. We had a limit of 30. We're now raised the limit to 50 agents per class. So as of last night, we had 19 spots available for our Legal 1. So if you haven't signed up yet, you still have an opportunity. That'll be on the next slide. The next one will be February 14th, which will be Legal 2. And that will be on the next 2 slides. You can sign up. Yes, these will all be in class only on the 5th floor of the Galleria building. We are working on getting some of the later ones to be both virtual and in person. They have the ability to do it. We just didn't have the ability to set the first 2 up that way. So probably, and then we're talking about moving this 3rd one back later and moving contracts up. So I'll update this by email. Hold on, Brandy, I'm getting there. So basically 50. So here is the link and the QR code for next week's class, Wednesday. Like I said, there's about 19 left. I sent this out by email yesterday as well, so make sure you check that. Now, drum roll, here we go. the one on Legal 2, you get first shot at next month's Legal 2 class. There are 50 slots available. So make sure you hit the QR code if you can see it there. I will also email this out right after the meeting, so you have the flyer as well in that. There we go. So this is exciting. And of course, I'm buying lunch for each one of those. So you get lunch, snacks, coffee, and training, right? Provided by HomeSmart. Now, but tomorrow, like I said, we're doing Networking 101 tomorrow at 10 a.m. But then one of our agents had some great ideas about listings. And I promised you all I was going to do some things on listings last year. So the next one on the 26th of January, we'll be preparing for your listing appointment, followed by the listing presentation and the listing contract, followed by marketing your listing and working with other agents, and then listings contract to close. And then I'm going to switch it over in March to the buyer. I got a potential buyer. Now what? And then your buyer wants to make an offer. Now what? Then purchase contract and common addendums. And then writing the offer and things to watch out for. And then buyer's contract to close. And then at end of May, we'll do working with tenants. There'll be more to come, but this is kind of your every other Friday fundamentals, kind of go walking through the process. So it should be good. Make sure you join me for those. All right. I mentioned this already. Our very first coffee chat with a broker is going to be up at the Hebrews Coffee House up in the Woodlands. I've already invited the agents that are in the area. It's based on where your home address is where I'm sorting these out at. So I'm basically bringing the broker to you because we're all over the areas. All right. I know we're running late, but you guys should really love this. Okay, here we go. HomeSmart agents are rocking it and have rocked it even when the turmoil of the year. So I want to celebrate some things here. We celebrate our agents with Diamond Awards, which is at the end of the year, we celebrate what you did for all of 2023. We celebrate our elite agents, which we'll go through 2024, and then we'll requalify for 2025. Those are our top 150 agents in the Houston market, our Houston office. We celebrate our top 50, top 250 for the company nationwide. We celebrate our top 15. Every quarter, we find out who our top 15 agents are, and we buy them lunch. Yes, Rosalva, the CE classes are free to you. They're not free to me. As a brokerage, we're paying for them, but they are free to you, no cost to the agent. All right, and then we want to celebrate people's first transaction, their 100th transaction, and so forth. Each month on these meetings, I want to recognize our top 10 agents that month, top teams, the top recruiter, and any kind of special achievements. Obviously, any milestones we reached. And of course, Growth Summit is where we celebrate company-wide our top agents nationwide, network, and so forth. So on that note, save the date for Diamond Awards. It's an invitation-only event. It's going to be on January 31st from 6 to 9. This is for all Diamond Award winners. You will get notified by email if you haven't already that you're a recipient. If you've made $100,000 or more in gross commission earned, you got paid $100,000 or more, you qualify and will be invited to the event. Okay. All of our elite members will be invited as well. Yes. And okay. We are recording tomorrow's session as well. And then our fourth quarter top 15 will be invited. So if you qualify for our top 15, our elite members from 2023, 2024, and a Diamond Award winner are invited to this one, just based on space. It's just not a big venue. Okay. Remind everybody, Growth Summit's coming up February 19th to 21st. You can still go. There's a $75 discount being offered right now for going. There's a discounted rate for the hotel rooms at Caesar's Palace. And there's some great deals on flights right now. This is where you can network with agents nationwide, meet with other HomeSmart people, get great speakers, really come out encouraged and empowered. Many of our agents are going. I'm going, but if you still have time to sign up if you want to. Here's all of the sponsors that we have for Growth Summit, which is awesome. Okay, rough numbers. I want to share this with you. That was really cool as we end the meeting here shortly. Last year in 2023, these are rough numbers. These are numbers I pulled up. Tomorrow's session is online, Beam. Yep. Agents at HomeSmart Houston, out of our group, our group, made $33,824,830 last year. That's amazing. So that is fantastic. And the same group of people sold $1 billion 184,887,000 and so forth in volume, meaning combined sales prices for all the properties we sold. That's a lot. Couple things here too. The highest one property closing commission was $156,000 on one closing, followed by someone who made $123,000 on one closing. Pretty impressive. The highest price sale was $7.2 million on one transaction. That was a commercial deal. The second place was $6.2 million, which was a residential home in Houston. There was a 4 or 5-way tie for the lowest price sale, which is $25,000, and that wasn't a lot. Those were houses, fixers, and whatever, $25,000. The highest sales volume for one agent was $14.9 million for the year. Pretty impressive. And the highest sales volume for a team, a whole team, was $18.3 million. And then just an aside for those that are killing it last year, one agent closed 50 transactions. That's amazing. That's not counting rentals. That's not counting referrals. Those are sales in one agent. So that's pretty impressive. So without the names will be revealed at the award. I wanted to share that with you. Pretty cool. All right, next up, amazing stuff. The numbers are huge. Okay, now you may not be able to read this, but the fourth quarter, top 15, drum roll please. These will all be invited as Diamond Awards. Many of them are recurring things, but I'm going to show you just as a aside. The number one for the fourth quarter was Travis Harris. He closed 11 transactions of almost $4 million in sales volume in 3 months. So averaging just under 4 a month. Pretty good. Then, of course, the list goes there. And the whole list, right here is right there. So we have Jessica Lee, Tracy Frederick. Good job. Nijat Ijaz, Don Walther, Kelly Barchi, Henry Anegi, Shaina Akram, Jorge Diaz, Lizette Labarca, Diana Martinez, Dianara, Nafez Harmucci, Lindsay Meadows, Fafu Zhang, and Bradley Gillespie. The reason I like this too, not only do we recognize the top 15, but these are people that closed out the year. This is October, November, December. What a way to finish strong for the year, that there's always business if you're out there hustling. So I want to encourage you all with that. All right, the top 10 for December in production sales unit: Henry, Claude, Kamara, Lizette, Alan, Travis, Bradley, Shaina, Jose, and Soledad. Nice. Congratulations to all of you for having a great December. Those are a number of sides and sales. Volume: Lindsay Meadows, Vincent Casimir, Elian Johnson, Christian Neighbor, Shaina again, Henry, Miguel and Sarah, Kelly, Robert, and Bradley. These are the ones that sold the most dollar amount of homes sold, number and so forth. That's the sales volume, if you will. All right, top teams. Top teams for sales sides: Royal Elite led the group, followed by Bay Area Group. This is December. The Realtix Group team, the Space City Real Estate team, HSI Commercial, and the Young Real Estate Group. The top volume: Royal Elite again, the Realtix team, the Bay Area Group, Space City Real Estate team, HSI Commercial, and the Young Real Estate Group. So once again, we track these things just to say good job. Your rankings are good. Want to finish with this? Our affiliates: Minute Mortgage is our sister. We owned by HomeSmart. Seller Shield, American Home Shield, Utility Concierge, and Muscular Moving Men are people that pay to be our partners in there. So nice job. Yeah, congratulations to all of those that we recognize. All right, here's our sponsors: Minute Muscular Moving Men. We have Seller Shield. We saw Utility Concierge today, a much better understanding of what that is. American Home Shield and Minute Mortgage. Angel, thank you again for being with us today. It's awesome. And of course, our next meeting will be on February 8th, 10 a.m. at the exact same time, same bat channel. And so I'm going to unpin myself here. Hold on here. We ran late today, but I had a lot of stuff to cover, so I'm glad you all stayed with me. Do you guys have any questions before we end the meeting today about any of the stuff we covered? But we covered a lot of stuff. Yeah, Kim was like, thinking. You can also email me as well. Robert, thanks for joining us. Ryan, and our I'm not sure if our guest is gone, but thanks for Utility Concierge joining us. Thank you all. 30 of you stayed for the whole time. So thank you. Looking forward to things. Make sure to join me tomorrow at 10 a.m. for Networking 101. And if you're newer or want to know where things are at HomeSmart, join me at noon in about a half an hour on the same bat channel. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's stop recording.